Hi there, wig lovers. I'm jangling for you today. I actually think I should probably take these off, because that's probably going to get annoying. But they're so fun. I'm Heather. That's Nigel.
Hello.
Yes. And this is another installment of Have I Got Nudes for You, which is just a cheeky take on a British panel show's name, so we can indulge on Friday nights and talk about nude eyeshadow palettes. So in this particular instance, I've been studying and playing with the Natasha Denona Biba palette, and it's a doozy. It's fun to play with. I made a mess and a half. I documented it, and I put it on our Patreon. So I did two different eye looks. One was kind of like a quasi-Jerry Hall-inspired 70s blowout glam look, very soft but very metallic. And then the other side was like all cool tone. I did kind of like an Edie, well, I tried to do like an Edie Sedgwick sort of like extra super harsh cut crease, you know, like mod style. I think it turned out pretty good for a first attempt. And I really just winged it. I didn't watch anyone else's tutorials. I just looked at a picture and just tried to see what I could do. So this is Biba. I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, thank you, honey. I just want to show it off to you really quick. I'm using fewer lights this time around, so let me know how it goes, because I don't want everything to look blown out. Like, for instance, today, I'm wearing extra, read all about it, super duper full coverage makeup today. I ran out of my spironolactone, which if any of you are PCOS sisters or you're M to F trans, or, you know, you just have a hormone imbalance where you have too much testosterone, spironolactone is a common medication that we take to kind of like, you know, stop the hair from falling out on the top of our heads and like stop acne. Well, I ran out, so my face reacted immediately. We're gonna have to like go pick that up soon. But yeah, I just want to let you know I have been playing around with this palette for about a week or so, and again, I did document that on our Patreon page, so I could give you really good details about like what the different experiments led up to, how it wears long term, and then we'll make a look. So just so you know, this is not a paid endorsement. Natasha Denona is not paying me to talk about this, and they did not send me this for free. I do not have an affiliate code. It's just, I like to buy these things. I like to play with them. Figured we might as well make it a series, just in case any of you want to hang out with me and talk about that too. Oh, by the way, this is boring. It's tea. It's like that glazed lemon loaf tea.
Do not diss tea, my sweet.
Well, it's one of those Tezon type things, dear.
Says the Englishman.
Yeah.
Playing to stereotype.
Yeah. Well, I think if you want to like welcome our guests, that'd be super cool, and that way I can try to concentrate on like not making a mess while I take a sip of this Tezon.
Sure. Yeah, we got loads of people coming in here. Kathleen's shown up. Hello, Kathleen.
Hello.
Harvey Street Hooper. Hello. Good evening. Liz is here. Faith DB10 is in. Hello.
They'll show their comments too.
Okay, let's see here. Here's Kathleen.
Oh, good. Thank you for the feedback. I wanted to make sure that, you know, I want it to be as soft so you can see the flaws. And you can probably see all kinds of bumps on my face right now.
Bettina says tea is lovely.
Oh, it is, really.
Harvey Street Hooper says you look stunning.
Thank you so much. I was inspired by the theme of this week's palette, really.
Hello from Oklahoma. Hi, Deirdre.
Hello.
Liz says the light is beautiful. Your face looks perfect.
Thank you, Liz.
There's Faith DB10.
Hello. Oh, we're so happy to have you guys with us. Like, I say this every once in a while, but I really mean it. Like, it doesn't matter to us if it's like 10 people or 1,000. You know, it's nice to just hang out. And the smaller the group, the more we can actually talk to you guys one-on-one, which is kind of cool. So
Andrea's here.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really, really love about these live streams is the fact that we can really interact.
Our buddy at Mountjoy Farms is here.
Oh, hi, Dylan. Very nice to see you too. She says, let's see if I can highlight her comment. Oh, I can. Yay. Hi, Heather and Nigel. So glad to catch you live.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, we're happy to have you with us.
And of course, Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl. Pamela says, hi, guys. Great to see you. You too.
Hi, Pamela.
Love it. It's a shout out from Sarah to Sarah. That's all right. I love it. Hi, Sarah from Arkansas. Triple exclamation points. Fabulous. We love you guys. We're super happy to have you with us. We hope you're having a great start to your weekend. And if not, we hope we can help with that. So let's see, what else do we got to talk about before I can get into the nitty gritty? Oh, I might as well tell you guys again why I started the series, just in case you're catching us for the first time. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I'm buying these things anyway. I like to play with them. And when it comes to the makeup I use for my images and my videos and stuff, I like to alternate. Like, I like to do a crazy, crazy, crazy look and maybe a whole day of crazy looks and like crazy eye makeup and just like bold colors, multi-chrome, everything that somebody over the age of 35 is not supposed to do, all in one look. That is what I love to do. I love to push those boundaries to see what I can actually get away with. And then I alternate that. And other days I like to do, just really soft, subdued, kind of natural, almost no makeup, but enough makeup that I don't look like I'm sick or something, because I'm really, really, really pale. So a little bit of rouge is helpful sometimes. You know what I mean? But that is actually part of the issue, though. I'm so pale that I have to be really careful with what I consider a nude eyeshadow shade. And really, I think this is an issue for most complexions. It's just sometimes what is nude on somebody who has a medium gold tone complexion is not going to be the same kind of nude that's on me, where I have kind of like a rosy pink, almost peachy pink base to my skin, but in other places it's kind of beige. But either way, it's kind of like a cool neutral tone, aside from where it's splotchy. And a lot of really warm tone makeup just looks very, very dramatic. It doesn't look nude. It looks really, really, really intense. So I hate it when manufacturers call, purples and pinks nudes, unless they're intentionally soft, subtle nudes, like a sheer wash of barely lilac. Yeah, that's kind of nude, or like something that's pigmented enough that if you just use a little tiny, tiny bit with a light touch, you can get a similar effect. But, it's you got to be very, very careful. And I wanted to know, are these actually nude, no makeup eyeshadows? We got to test them and find out. So that's exactly what we will do in this series. Oh, sorry, Nigel. He's right on top of it. We're like, when you're walking down the street and somebody's coming in the other direction, and then you each make the same move to get out of each other's way, and you say, oh, looks like we're dancing. Yeah, sometimes it's like that in live streams with the banners.
Oops, sorry.
Dancing, dear. Yay. It's romantic.
I won't dance. Don't ask me. I won't dance. No.
Hey, I was digging it. So the eyeshadow palettes each week will be selected by you guys. We put it up in a poll, and I basically just shop my stash. I have a gigantic eyeshadow collection. It's absolutely absurd, but I'm like a moth to the flame. They're so pretty and sparkly. I can't help it. I'm curious and I want to know what it feels like to play with them. And so I just shop my stash and then put, maybe a theme together sometimes and have you guys vote. And what is the most popular choice is what we end up talking about. So make sure you vote in our community tab polls each week, and be sure to vote for what you want. And then on top of that, you should check us out Saturdays at 6 p.m. on our CysterWigs station, which is CysterWigs After Dark, CysterWigs 2, where we have slightly looser live streams, if you can imagine that. Like we get a little tipsy sometimes and eat candy sometimes.
It's all very unprofessional.
It's so diabolical and unprofessional, yes, but it's delightful. So if you're kind of into the casual stuff and you don't mind a little loose language and tomfoolery shenanigans, we will be there for you Saturdays at 6. You want to take any comments, honey?
I'll just say this: if we shenaned once, we'll shenan again.
Boo.
Thank you. Right, let's see. Where do we leave off? Oh, yes. Shauna Salmon says, Heather, you look like an old Hollywood movie star.
Thank you.
Like from the 40s.
I was going for like 70s version of that, you know?
Well, ain't that just the cat's pajamas? Andrea says, love the look tonight, boho chic.
Oh, yes. And that's actually right in line with the theme of this particular palette, which I'll talk about in just a moment.
Shelley says, hi from Florida.
Hi, Shelley.
Pamela, loves your outfit.
Thank you, Pamela. Oh, and you guys can't even see, like, I literally have kind of bell-bottom pants on. I seriously do. And they're like teal corduroy. I'm not even joking. So yeah, I went with the 70s version of the boho thing for sure.
Bettina says, cute earrings. Where'd you get those again?
These are ModCloth earrings that I bought used on Poshmark. I highly recommend buying things used on Poshmark or, you know, Mercari or, you know, any of those places where you can get really nice stuff for like a third of the price. It's pretty cool. And then you're helping out a small business owner who owns a boutique there. That's kind of cool.
Oh, here's an interesting one. I'll take this last one from Delenn, and I'm stuck in 1940s fast talk mode. We'll take this last from Delenn because that might be a good idea for next week. Have you thought about doing specific looks for the prismatic ebony wig color? I received my Anya today, and I'm in love.
Yay! Oh, well, you know what? I probably should. I did during one of the live streams, and I believe it was one of the ones that we did to kind of like, it was one of those random weekday ones that we did in the lead up to this series, so that way we could test the technology. So you know, they're kind of clumsy, but they are some very intense live streams. And I actually did a complete kind of duochrome rainbow liner look to go with the prismatic ebony. I don't know if any of you guys in the comments can vouch that we did that, but yeah, I did a look where I didn't pair it with prismatic ebony. Come to think of it, I paired it with the holographic blonde.
I knew it was one of those multicolored ones.
Oh, so challenge! I have a challenge.
Hey!
Yeah, I should totally do this. Okay, make sure you.
Thank you, Delenn.
Yeah, make a note of that, and make sure you put her name with it too, so that I can give her a shout out when I actually like execute this. When that day comes.
Execute order 66. Right, I'm on it.
Thank you. All right, so let's see here. And as I kind of alluded earlier, and I'll have that like scrolling at the bottom of the screen, like I don't necessarily study other people's makeup videos, though I do watch some once in a while. So if I ever duplicate something, like if I watch like a Robert Welch video or something, and I duplicate something I've seen him do, or Wayne Goss, I'll make sure I mention it. It's just so far I'm just kind of winging it and see how it goes. And I've also got a lot of source material to work with. I'm not just making it up completely. I am a grade A nerd, so nerd. I'm going to remove you from the stream for just a second, honey, so I can show them this book. This is the classic Making Faces by Kevin Aquan. Okay. And this is like a book everybody talks about being like a holy grail. I've studied this. I have a whole shelf full of books, and I've got another one downstairs that I'm actually really excited to tear into. It's just whenever I have free time, I'm kind of looking into it. And this book is magical. Like, it's awe-inspiring. You just look at what he does. That's Lisa Marie Presley, right? The man was a magician. I mean, there's some Photoshop at play here, but this is Demi Moore, right? I mean, this is a great book for tips. Courtney Love. It's magical. I mean, it's worth it just to buy the pictures. Everybody talks about like how that glossy, like wet eye look was really hot for a while. Like, here's a picture of him doing that with Cher, and no specialty products to make that happen, just magic. So anyway, I kind of combed through here and I learned stuff from here. And today, for example, the look I'm going to try to do is actually the one he does for Dawn here on page 83. Now, I'm not going to use the same colors, but I'm just going to use the same pattern that he's using to lay out the colors on Dawn. I need, obviously, lighter colors because of my complexion, but I just think it's such a pretty, soft look. And the way he lays it out is so pretty. She also has round eyes in the image, and I do too. So that's why I think this one's going to work out pretty well. Before I get into that, I just want to let you know, we have a freaking rad human hair giveaway announcement. So as I've mentioned in previous live streams, and you know, I try to put it on the community tab with some of the details. I've got this lovely wig. This is actually an Eva wig from the Estetica Luxuria collection. I've never actually worn this out and about, and that's kind of the issue. I bought it, I fell in love with it, so I kept it. I reviewed it, still kept it in a box. So I washed it, realized it was still really, really, really pretty. I took it to a friend of mine who works at Athens Tech, and she's a master licensed cosmetologist. So I told her, you know, can you just make this a lob? And then, you know, we washed it, conditioned it, and it's just got this beautiful, naturally wavy texture to it when you condition it properly and let it air dry. And it's about 16 inches. It's got a bit of a blunt cut to the edges. You can kind of see that. They're not pointed. You know, they're definitely kind of a blunt cut at the edges. So you could straighten this and it would look really fantastic. It has a 100% hand-tied cap, and it has a lace front. So this is a premium wig. It's worth over $2,000. And the thing is, after I was done having it cut, even though I liked the length a lot better, I just never wore it. I mean, like, I have all these human hair wigs up here. I use them as set decoration. I never wear them. And I like the cheaper wigs. I like synthetics. I have the option to wear very luxurious, beautiful human hair works of art, and yet I still kind of choose every day to wear my synthetics because I'm lazy. I just can't be bothered. And I live in Georgia, which is really humid basically every day of the year. So, I mean, that's only a slight exaggeration, but you know, it's just really humid. And so human hair wigs can be tricky because, you know, just like human hair in general, it just frizzes out. And my synthetics look great. And then people wonder what my magic trick is. I like that so much better. So I'm going to add you back to the stream, honey. You there? Are you there? Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hello. Do you want to take any comments at all before I get into the rest of this, or do you want to talk about the rest of the giveaway instructions? Because they're on the banners if you just want to read them.
Sure. I got a couple things here. Heather, you actually look like you're wearing the 30s style.
Hey, I can dig it.
You and your flappers. I swear, one of these days, in the one of the CysterWigs Facebook things, we're talking about how you look like various celebrities and so forth. And I posted that picture of the Tamara de Lempicka St. Moritz picture of the 1930s.
And like what do you call it? Far away and visionary?
Far away and visionary look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't duplicate it right now, but
yeah.
So just staring off
wistfully.
Up. Yeah.
Liz, as she likes her Fridas, have 4 of them haven't worn out the house yet.
And I know what you're talking about. Those are Fridas that are on my top shelf, and I love them. They're beautiful, and I can't bear the thought of parting with them. You know what I mean? I like all these wigs, but the Fridas are just there's something kind of special, really. And I just never wear them ever. Maybe, and part of it thinks it might kind of be the fact that I grew up kind of poor, and so I feel weird. Like I feel weird wearing like real jewelry. I love costume jewelry. You know, I collect costume jewelry, but I have a really hard time bringing myself to like buy or wear like real jewelry. And like the human hair wigs, I might be having the same experience. I buy all my clothes secondhand, you know? So it's like, I don't know. I just knowing that I have like a used car on my head is a little bit of stress for me. I feel like Tweak from South Park. I'm like, that's too much pressure.
Shall we continue with the discussion of the prizes?
Yeah, you go ahead and talk about it, because I'd like you to read some of the slides in your amazing voiceover voice.
In my voiceover, okay.
Epic.
Heather is giving away a one-of-a-kind Ava by Estetica in the color R4 that has been customized to be a sassy, swishy lob.
Swish with sass.
Each clue will be part of the entry process, plus a secret code word. Watch the rest of the stream for the randomly placed clue. New clues every Friday in May.
Yeah.
Prize value $2,599. Open to US, Canada, UK, and Australia. But if you're international, you are responsible for duties, taxes, and shipping costs. Member FDIC.
That last part is not accurate.
No, that last part was a gag.
Member of the FDIC.
Entry is free. All you have to do is watch the live streams or the replays every Friday in May for the clues. Solve the puzzle. Sorry?
Go ahead, honey.
Solve the puzzle to be entered into the drawing. The winner will be announced during the live stream on June 4th, 2021. And finally, the prize is as is. However, the winner can take it to whichever stylist that you want and, fix it up the way you like. But it's only been worn by Heather a couple of times for photo shoots, and so it's guaranteed clean and free of
it's
contaminants.
It's been washed, conditioned. It looks beautiful. Put a little bit of shine serum in there. Oh, it's in good shape. You'll probably still need to style it though, because she's been in a box for a while, but she looks great. And we've actually been hanging her on the canvas head since I pulled her out of the box to kind of naturally relax that without losing that luscious wave. So, hey. All right. So you're seeing that little scrolly thing at the bottom. If you're not signed up for our newsletter at CysterWigs.com, I highly recommend it because we put out all kinds of releases about these live streams in case you forget. But we try to, at this point, make it the same, wig time, same wig channel sort of deal. All right, time to move on. Let's talk about this palette. So as I mentioned to my Patreon crowd, I love the backstory of the theme of this palette. You could say you see it says all neutral Natasha Denona Biba palette. There are little holes in the back, so you can literally pop all of these out and stick them in a magnetic eyeshadow pan holder if you want, which is pretty sweet. You can see I've legit played with this a lot because it's messy, but it's not that messy. I clean stuff up afterwards. But here is the box. And a couple things actually I really love about the box is that you get to see not only what the color names are, where they're laid out, even though sometimes the order can be a little mixed up in some of these ND palettes. This one was laid out correctly. And it tells you what kind of shadows they are, and it tells you what's in them. Now, here are some things to know. We're going to test this. Is it nude? As in, can I make a natural look with this palette? Would it be work appropriate? Could I wear it to church, etc., etc.? And then the second test is it neutral? As in, if I wear these 3 different wigs that are on the table behind me, which are all honors, and I'll talk about that in a moment, will this eye look go with all of these wig colors? So tonight's test wig colors will be on the Honor wig because I thought it would go the best with the theme and everything. From the CysterWigs Limited collection in Unicorn Swirl-R, which is our cool color tonight, the Caramel Macchiato-R, which is our warm color, and our Ravens and Roses R, which I threw in for a wild card, just to give us something nice and dark. So shameless self-promotion achieved. All right.
We've achieved something.
Yay! Gold star. We deserve a cookie. Alrighty. So, info about this palette. It's expensive. It's $129 for 37.5 grams. Definitely in the luxury and professional makeup category. Supposedly cruelty-free, but contains carmine, which is, a lot of you know, is literally like little crushed up beetles. So, what? Take that one with a grain of salt. Some more feedback about the shadow trials in case you missed that in the Patreon video. Biba, the namesake of the palette, is a department store that used to be in London in the on High Street in Kensington, and very, very, very trendy. It was one of the biggest tourist attractions in London during the 60s. And it started off as a shop that was like a little boutique, again, in Kensington. So again, a really trendy district, very expensive district, very posh. You know, they set up a little boutique there that literally just sold one dress in one pattern. And every time they would come out with a new dress, they would sell out in the same day. The first day they opened, they sold out all their dresses before the day was half over. So eventually that metamorphosized into a 10-story department store that had an Art Deco meets glam rock vibe. And it's just fantastic. So if you're catching, you know, Art Deco vibes from my outfit, boho vibes, kind of, you know, can't place it, almost looks pastiche kind of vibe. That's exactly what the interior of this particular department store looked like. It looked like all of those genres and none of them. It was just beautiful and decadent. I'm even wearing green nail polish like I'm in the movie Cabaret to try to be thematically consistent. So divine decadence, you know? All right.
Now I have to work on my Michael York impression.
Oh, let us not role play that movie ever. No.
Okay.
No. Okay, moving on. I don't want to go to Chelsea. All right. Pro, the color story is chic and evocative of two periods of time in London, specifically the mod 60s and the glam 70s, but with a twist, and that twist is that simulacrum of the 30s, 40s glam old Hollywood vibe. So, pro, high quality ingredients, and the palette seems very consistent across all the colors. The creamy pigment shades, so the CP mattes, and it tells you on the back what those are. So that's going to be tone, rayon, taupe, spot. They're very intense, they're just pressed pigments, but they've got a really creamy base, and they just go on smooth as butter. They're fantastic. And they're some of the best mattes I've ever used. The color story is predominantly warm tone, but has plenty of cooler tones to make this very versatile. All of the colors play very well together. It's matte dominant, so this will make it easy to wear regardless of fine lines or technical skill. And if you do have some skills, you can really make this sing. So the first con is actually that it's matte dominant. You only get 3 shimmers, and 2 of them, Monroe and Shine. So Monroe is right here, and Shine, they're a little bit too similar for my taste. I mean, there is a difference. One's a little bit more copper. The Shine color is a little bit more copper, and the Monroe is more of like a really dark champagne color with a lot more shimmer, and this is more of like a foil. There are differences, but they're just not enough. If you're only going to get 3 shimmers, you want them all to be distinctive, in my opinion. They do a much better job of that in their, what do they call it? The duochrome, multi-chrome palette. Oh, what should you call it? Oh no, that's the Shadow 24. I'm dropping things. My Triochrome palette. And I'll show you that real quick. This is a similar sized palette, but you can see she gives you these metallic colors, and they're very divergent. And I don't like it when you only get a small number of shimmers and they're all kind of the same color, you know? So most of the shadows are mid-tone or darker. Check that out. Now look how pale I am. See what I mean? So this gives you lots of transition options, but not a lot of option for base or highlight shades. And the other con is it's expensive. So I highly recommend signing up for Natasha Denona's newsletter on her website and just waiting for a sale. That's how I usually end up buying these, is when they're on sale. So let's make a look. While I kind of get this together, Nigel, and figure out what I'm doing here, do you feel like taking some more comments? You don't want to be on camera?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Love Cabaret. My parents took me to see that when I was younger.
What? Your parents took you to see Cabaret? That's a dark movie for a kid. It's an education, that's for sure.
Liz says, I wonder if any department store could do that now. Probably too expensive.
I bet, but it looks so lush, doesn't it?
Yeah. Lorette says losing audio. Let us know if that's improved since you posted that, please, Lorette. Sharon says hi.
Hello.
Shauna says I must check out Poshmark.
Yeah, it's great.
Hey, it's Wendy from Australia has just popped
Hi,
in.
Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
All right. Again, I'm pulling out this Making Faces book, and I'm trying to follow the steps he's putting out here for Dawn's look. Though, obviously, I'm going to try to use lighter colors. I'm just laying it out in a similar fashion. Go ahead, honey. I'm just kind of going to read this while you read some more comments.
Okay, let's see. Liz and I were chatting back and forth about Kensington. I say that's usually our home base, so to speak, whenever we visit London. And Liz says she loves Portman Square. We used to stay in the Churchill. I honestly can't remember. I
like hotels in England. I mean, the rooms are kind of small, but I like the breakfasts that you can have, and they usually have like garden areas and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we usually stay at the Holiday Inn there. That's convenient for so many places, that Holiday Inn. Bettina says, saw Paint Your Wagon on the same night. That is a musical double feature that just clashes, I think.
It's an interesting juxtaposition.
Paula says, just joined. Hi from Las Vegas. Hello, Paula.
All right, I want to read the first step that I'm going to do while you take some more comments, honey. So he puts a neutral toned eyeshadow under the eye towards the outer corner and into the crease towards the nose. Okay, so I'm just going to run with it. It's this little picture right here. There we go. All right. Oops. Oh, go ahead, honey. I'm just going to do this.
Yeah, I'm dropping out. I'll be available on audio if necessary.
Oh no, what's wrong?
No, I just moved it aside so you could show your book more easily.
Gotcha. Cool. I think I'm gonna use the Monroe for this, and I did prime my eyes already and put a little bit of powder down. This is just a shimmer. It's I'm gonna put this down at least till the next step. It's this shimmer right here. It's the one that's kind of like a dark champagne, almost a copper, but this is definitely more coppery. And it's very, very shiny. But, all right, let's do this.
Faith has an interesting idea. I love the scarf look. Maybe sometime we could do a tutorial on styling scarves along with wigs.
Oh, sure.
Let me make a note of that.
Yeah, make sure you write our name with it so we can.
Sure.
But that's something we got to get in the habit of doing, because before, when we were writing down people's ideas, we were forgetting, and then we'd have to go all the way through the live stream comments.
You know, now I've got the notepad thing up on my computer.
All right, that's not opaque enough to do what I want to do, but just to make sure I'm even on both sides, I'm going to do it on the other side too. I need to pick a matte, I think, for this. It was worth a shot. I just really like this color.
Liz says, oh my God, English breakfast, kippered herring, shirred eggs.
I love eggs or fish for breakfast.
To which I said not to mention kedgeree and black pudding. Liz says, not sure I could do black pudding now. To be perfectly honest, Liz, it's not something I go diving for myself.
Well, let me ask all of you guys a question, and Nigel, you can chime in too if you want. Should I go cool tone, which there aren't as many options, but I can totally do, because this look doesn't require that many different colors. Do you want me to go cool tone, or do you want me to go with the warmer shades? Because since I'm not using that many different colors for this look, it's kind of got to pick a family, basically.
Vote in the comments over here, cool or warm, and we'll go up based on your requests.
Yes, we will take a look at it. So you want to go cool? You want to go warm? What would be more helpful to you? Or what do you think would look best with my outfit, even though my outfit's got a little bit of both going on?
Well, oh boy, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, okay.
It looks like a split almost.
Cool, warm. Cool, fish and chips with Guinness. Cool, warm, 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 cool, cool. So far, I think, let me see here. I think cool is winning so far.
I can do that.
Cool is winning by a narrow margin.
Well, we're getting the rest of this. I'm going to kind of even out this side since I've already committed to putting this Monroe color on.
I'm going to find a pen and actually do a tally.
Oh, nice.
Thankfully, I'm right next to a whole bunch of pens.
This brush is super, super soft. So I know you probably see I'm doing like a bunch of different strokes. This is super, super, super soft. So it actually feels kind of nice. Boobity bop, squealy beep bop, bop doo wop. This is probably something where I have a confession to make. I randomly scat at times. I know that statement makes it sound like I'm a guinea pig and I poop all over the house or something, but no. I actually just like randomly when I'm just, this is such an annoying habit to confess. Like I sit around and, you know, while I'm doing chores or whatever, I will just randomly make up scat riffs. They're not even good. It's just something I got into. I guess that's not that far of a cry from like humming to yourself or something like that, but yeah.
Okay, we've got
What do we
13 votes for cool, 6 for warm, and 1 with fish and chips with Guinness.
I'll take one of those, please.
That sounds bloody good, but I've already made some chickpea rotini pasta for dinner tonight. That's cool. That's cooling off downstairs.
So okay, I'm totally zoned out for a minute. You said cool tone, right?
Cool tones win.
All right, cool. Just verifying. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this Tor color, which is down here, and I've used that before. This is actually like a little Beth Bender beauty brush, but I like the head of it. It's whoop. Can you see that? It's kind of like, there you go. It's kind of like a smudger. All right. Let me take a look at the reference picture again. All right, I'm golden. Here we go.
Paula says you two make a lovely couple.
Thank you. He's wonderful. So he kind of makes it easy on me.
And Deirdre Wagner says a cool Guinness. I keep.
Have you seen those Guinness milkshakes?
No, I've. Susie once made me a Guinness cake for my birthday.
Oh wow!
It was bloody amazing.
That does sound good.
Yeah, but every time I see Guinness, let me see if I can do this. Yeah, you can still see you. Every time I think of Guinness, I keep thinking of the Irish comedian Dara O'Brien, who's always on those panel shows as well. And he talked about the time where he used to work in a bar, and they take it so seriously that you are not allowed to pour a Guinness until you have watched them do it and practiced yourself. And he says, well, what you got to do is you pour a little bit and then you let it settle. And then you pour a little bit and let it settle. And then you pour a little bit and let it settle. And it takes a while. And if they draw a shamrock in the top, you get to stab them in the eye with a fork.
Now, is that if they're friends or if they're not friends?
No, that's just if they ask you to. If they draw a shamrock in the top of your Guinness, you're allowed to stab them in the eye with a fork from an authentic Irishman. So
you have it on good authority, is what you're saying.
Yes, he used to pour Guinness for a living. Yep. There we go. And Pamela says, so proud of you and what you do for us.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very sweet.
I tell her that every day too, Pamela.
And
yes, I do.
Appreciate it, because I have a bad habit of getting my own head really badly. I'm like, oh, I'm not doing enough. And then, of course, that's a crazy thought because I am constantly working. But, you know, it's like part of me is just like, I could always do more. I want to do more. I am terrible at just sitting and relaxing, I guess, is the moral of that story.
You're sort of like a female version of Simon Whistler. I have so many ideas. I want to do so many things.
Yeah, except his channels will have like 1 million subscribers because he talks about topics that have nothing to do with him personally. And I can't do that. I like talking about things I like to talk about. I don't just want to read like random scripts. Though I wish that I could get you a channel where you could do that, honey, because your voice is so good for that sort of thing. I'm still working with Tor. It's the same color. I'm just using a slightly fluffier brush because this is, I believe this is one of the creamy pigments. Boop, boop, boop. It is. So it's very concentrated. So I'm using a very, very small amount of product. I just want to show you why I'm going over it over and over again. Super, super small amount of product just on the tip. I'm just dabbing it on there. And none of it, and when I tap it, none of it comes off because it's kind of concentrated. And I'm going as light as humanly possible.
Liz says, who the heck does this like you, Heather? They are reviewing old wigs everywhere else.
I think it's probably because they're just now starting to release their spring collections everywhere. And I'm kind of like trying to figure out whether or not I want to get involved with it. So maybe that's something you guys give me some feedback on too. I've gotten calls from a couple different companies to see if I want to do something with them. I'm kind of like on the fence about it. Like I want to do things that service you guys, right? Like I don't want to be selfish about this. But at the same time, you know, I've been pretty candid about the fact that I get kind of burnt out sometimes. And it's kind of nice to just focus on what I'm doing once in a while, as opposed to like the newest releases everywhere. So, but I'll let you guys tell me what you would like. And I can try to have those conversations maybe next week once we get some feedback. So as you probably saw, I initially used like a little like smudger brush. And I used that to kind of like draw a little line in here, real soft one. I used the same brush that I used earlier, this Wayne Goss 6, which has kind of a flat side to it. And I used that flat part to just gently sweep, barely moving. I don't want to pull my skin is basically it. So I just kind of went really softly with it. And then eventually I broke out a fluffier brush, a Wayne Goss 19, to just kind of like gently soften that up and to deposit some more color softly in the crease. All right, I'm going to take a swig of something to drink. Some very, very not scandalous hint water. This is lemon flavored. It's delightful. Feels so
Andrea
weird.
Says, if you have the bandwidth for some reviews, I'd love it. I want to support your store, not the big ones.
Well, we'll probably still sell those things for sure. But it's just if you guys are interested in that, we'll consider it.
Wayne Goss brushes are the best.
They're pretty good. I'm a big fan. I like Natasha Denona's for some things better, but honestly, his airbrush is one of my holy grails. I love it for setting my under eyes. I mean, I actually bought a backup in case I ever destroy the one that I use all the time. I like it that much. So as I mentioned, I'm kind of using like a little smudger brush to deposit this. And I actually am not loving this smudger brush for this application. I'm going to switch to a Makeup Forever brush that's a little bit denser, a little bit softer. I think it's going to pick up more of this product so I don't have to go over it so many times. There we go. Hooray. Sometimes equipment matters. So again, this is a Makeup Forever 210. Makeup Forever makes wonderful synthetic makeup brushes. Oh, that's a much easier application than the other eye. All right. Lesson learned.
Cheryl says, Wayne Goss brushes always seem to be out of stock, at least when I have the money for them. Lol.
Yeah, I've bought a couple used. I bought his holiday brush from 2019 used. I want, or from 2018 used. I want the one from 2019, but no one ever seems to sell it. Or if they do seem to sell it, they're selling it for some ridiculously high price. Like originally it was only like $68, and when people try to flip it, they sell it for like $300-400 sometimes. I like the brush and I want one, but not that much. Anything else, honey?
I don't know, but the way you're using that palette, I'm getting a kind of Bob Ross kind of vibe. Just sort of mellow. Where's your cadmium yellow and your titanium white?
Well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man. I don't know. I have no way of like quoting Bob Ross because he's got such a smooth voice. So soft, so soothing. And also, is it just me, or whenever you guys think of Bob Ross, do you think of the squirrels, like the little squirrel in his pocket? I swear it's like an instant association. I'm constantly, it's like instantly I go right to the baby squirrels.
Happy little trees, says Shauna.
That too. I actually had a tin that I carried around my purse for ages called Happy Little Mints.
Yeah. Didn't I buy them for you, or did I point them out to you and you bought them?
You might have done. All right. I think that's more or less even-ish. It's hard to tell sometimes with all these lights on. I'm trying to make sure that it looks pretty even on both sides before I move on. And this is all just one color so far. The base I'm using does have a slight white pigment to it. I'm using the ABH eye primer. I'm probably making funny faces right now. I'm just checking to make sure that the creases are even. All right, cool. Now my eyes are not naturally even. I have a little bit more skin in my hood on one eye than the other. It's a little bit more pronounced on this side, which is why when I do this one, I kind of take my time to make sure the shape of it above where the hood is basically this, you know, nice and even with this side. So that way it kind of helps open it up a little bit. I'm sure I'm going to have to change strategies if the hood droops some more though. Let's see, what colors do I want to do next if I'm keeping it cool? Let's see, where does he apply it? He's, okay, so I did that part already. What's the next part? Black powder eyeshadow was then applied as close to the lashes as possible and smudged to create a more defined lash line. And then a shimmery golden beige shadow was applied to the lids. Okay. All right. I told you there weren't that many colors involved in this look. Okay. So we're going to put a little bit of spot, which is this black color here. Well, it's not quite, it's like a soft black. It's not a real harsh black. And we're going to put some of that on my lash line. I just want to find a good brush for this. Ooh, we're going to go, since we were talking Wayne Goss, we're going to stick with Wayne Goss. This is his number 7 brush. No, I'm not going to use 7. That's a brow brush. He's got one in here. The number 6, I believe, is the one I'm looking for. Number 8, that's the one it is. I've used this one before. It's really great with gel liners, but this is actually his eyeliner brush. All right. And I'm probably going to tight line and not really do much anything else with it. I'm kind of using baby strokes. Can you see me on camera, honey?
Yeah, I can see you.
All right, it's hard to tell when I'm looking down like this. Thank you.
Yeah, you're a bit low on the thing, but there you go. Perfect.
There, is that good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Because I need the mirror in front of me.
And yeah, that's a number 8 brush, yes?
Yes.
Right, there you go, Cheryl, number 8 brush.
Now, this brush is one where I've talked about it in the past. It's almost always sold out. So the best thing to do is go to Beautylish and get on their wait list for it. Again, this is not a paid endorsement. It's just stuff I like. Though if they ever were like, hey, Heather, would you like free makeup to do a review? I'd probably say yes, as long as they're not upset that I disclose it. I'm pretty much against taking endorsements where the people try to tell me not to disclose, which some companies have done in the past.
Well, I've got no problem whatsoever endorsing products I actually like.
Right. Same here.
None whatsoever. So, I mean, if, you know, Perrier Jouet want to send us some champagne or, you know, stuff like that. Hasbro, if you want me to review a Titan class, you know, send it my way.
You would be the only one that would get anything out of champagne. We'd have to invite some friends over from the live streams to kind of drink it with us.
Oh, darn. I'm sure they'd hate that.
Okay, I got to switch.
Hey, or meaderies. Anyone who makes mead? Yeah, send some of that our way. I'll review it, honestly.
And it will be so hard. Just so hard. That's the thing. Like, if you are burnt out on reviewing something or talking about a topic, it's hard to drum up enthusiasm about it. But when it's something you're really passionate about, you can't wait to tell people about it. You know, you can't wait to get your hands on it. And I'm kind of hoping that if I take a little break from emphasizing wigs so much, that I might get that back. Because after almost a decade of talking about wigs all day, every day, it begins to feel like your job, you know? But I do miss it. I miss those days when I was like really, really super passionate about it. And I found that I am really passionate about making the wigs and designing them and testing them, learning about how they're made, you know, the nerd parts. I love that stuff. And I love the creative aspect of it. But it feels like YouTube kind of shifted to now where a lot of it is being incentivized, like, to be an infomercial. And that's not like any wig company's fault specifically. It's literally like YouTube itself is kind of like that now. And it's not just exclusive to wigs. So it's kind of it's hard to just have a channel where you want to treat it like old school social media, where you literally just talk to people and not just try to sell things constantly. And I know that's highly ironic because I own a store and I try to sell things in that store. But gosh darn it, let's just say that you know, being a salesperson is not something that I ever wanted to do when I grew up, you know, and I would much rather just like sell things by sheer enthusiasm than try to run constant nonstop infomercials. And after a while, I just started to feel like things had shifted. So I shifted too. And I have a lot of fun. And I'm glad that you guys are hanging out with me still. I'm very grateful for that.
Well, I'll say this, my sweet. Got some fun comments here that I think you should hear. Let me just find them here. Here we go. Cheryl says, I really like your stuff, Heather. Not interested in other manufacturers. They're the same old, and you are new and innovative.
Thank you.
Shauna says, your stuff is fantabulous. Concentrate on it.
Thank you.
Deidre says, it would be great to see the new Henry Margu wigs. No one is reviewing them.
Sorry, what'd you say, honey?
Crap, where'd it go?
That on. I think there's a delay maybe because you popped that on there while I was still talking.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It would be great to see new Henry Margu wigs. No one is reviewing them. And where is it? Someone had another one.
See, there we're doing it again. Stop for a second. You can't just say something and then not let me respond.
Yeah.
So shh, calm. Find your creamy nougaty core and take a breath after you read a comment, okay? And that way I have a chance to respond. So in this case, Henry Margu, because this is juicy. I don't want to like not talk about this. So Henry Margu did contact me to see if I would be interested in scoping out one of their new styles. And they thought I might think it's really cute. So that's actually one of the ones that I'm actually leaning towards doing because they're actually super nice. And I've had great partnerships with them in the past. And they don't kick up a fuss if I say that it was a sponsored video. They're usually pretty cool with that because they know it's like the law. So I appreciate that. I don't like having to fight over. Yeah, I'm gonna disclose you guys. That's gonna happen. But you don't have to because we're not paying you money. It doesn't matter if you're paying me money. If you're giving me a wig, that's compensation according to the FTC, and I gotta disclose. That's why it's kind of like a pet peeve of mine when people say things like, you know, this is not a paid sponsorship, but then here's my affiliate code, or this store sent me this wig. Those are both types of paid sponsorships. They need to disclose that, have that little flag show up that says contains paid sponsorship. Like literally, they need to do that. It's part of YouTube's terms of service. And a lot of people in a lot of niches, not just wigs, makeup, it's a pretty big problem in the makeup niche too. A lot of people don't disclose. And if they do disclose, they do so in ways that are very confusing and vague because they want you to think that they're one of you and not somebody like me, or not a professional influencer. You know, they're just your friend. In my case, I own a store. I believe in small businesses, and I believe there's no shame in making an honest dollar and being open about it. Like, I don't try to hide the fact that I own a store, or that, you know, from the FTC's perspective, every single video I make is an ad for my brand and my store. So, you know, and it's not enough to be an influencer and say, yeah, well, that's a brand, and I'm talking about that brand, because no, you know, I sell physical products. You know, it's kind of the difference between an MLM and a regular pyramid scheme. Both are kind of like not the best, but then you end up, I mean, that they're not directly analogous, but you know what I mean? Like, it's the difference between Diet Coke and regular Coke. You know, I'm rambling. None of this makes sense now. And I can tell because I'm terrible at walking and talking and applying makeup and ranting at the same time. Nigel, save me.
The Mertz with a fantastic Darth Vader avatar says, what's the deal with Gabor wigs? I never hear anything about them.
Well, Gabor wigs, that gets down to kind of like the history of some of these wig brands. And I could make a whole series about that if anybody's interested. But Gabor existed a very long time before Raquel Welch, and a very long time before most of the wig brands that are sold as medical wigs. Like the Gabor line is kind of like the OG of like premium synthetic wigs. And you could kind of guess that by looking at the name, because Ava Gabor has been, you know, not on this earthly plane for quite some time now. But she was actually the founder and namesake of the company. So, I mean, that is actually Ava Gabor. So sister to Magda and Jaja. Very glamorous, and they're known for, you know, making wigs that are kind of in that style. So the Gabor line is kind of a legacy line, and it is geared more towards women of a certain age who still recognize the namesake and cachet value of that brand's branding. So they get it. And, you know, those women typically, as a demographic, buy their hair in person. So the things that you see being sold online the most are not always the most popular or the best selling things outside of the online world, because typically what sells best online are twofold: lowest price, you know, that's a given. And then the other thing that typically sells online are things that photograph really well. And sometimes, you know, more conservative wigs and hair pieces don't typically photograph that spectacularly because they're made to be natural. They're made to blend in. They're not meant to really be something that you can take a picture of and be like, oh, well, look, don't you want to look like this? Because you're going to have to use your imagination and play with it a little bit in most cases to get it to look the way you want. So the great thing about buying things from a brick and mortar salon is that the people who work at that salon do that stuff for you. So they can zhuzh up the hair and make it, you know, look its best. So that way, when you go to the salon, you're like, oh, right on. And you're actually paying that salon in a lot of cases for upkeep on the wig as well. Whereas it's all DIY when you buy online. It's part of the reason why our wigs are so much less expensive. Yeah, go ahead, honey. I know I was rambling again.
That's okay. All right. Let's see. Where are we here? Right. Liz says, I don't care about you reviewing other people's wigs. I do like to buy a JR or RW from you from time to time from you.
They're both great brands.
Sharon Steele says, oh, yes, me too. Perrier Jouet is my most favorite champagne. I used to like the Tailors of New York Extra Dry. That was like $7. That I think the most it got to was like $7.50 a bottle. But then sometime around the late 90s, the quality went down and it wasn't that good. But it was fantastic when it was It was fantastic when it was good.
It was fantastic when it was fantastic. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah. But seriously, it back in its heyday, it tasted like a really good Perrier Jouet.
I love the artwork on the Perrier Jouet on the bottle.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, it's so good.
Shauna says, please talk about your stuff.
You got it. I mean, we'll kind of like wait till the comments come in, and after the replay launches, feel free to just keep letting us know. And if you're watching the replay, make sure I just want to make sure I let you know, Mike, I got tongue tied for a second, that your opinion still counts. So I mean, we still read those comments too. So even if you miss it live, we would still love to know what you think in that regard.
Liz says, I want to learn more about styling your wigs and make more too.
Oh, yeah.
Irene says, you're so honest. I love it.
Thank you.
Bettina says, brava, Heather.
Thank you very much.
Shauna says, Heather is so real.
I mean, to a fault, though. I will say that I really do appreciate the fact that you guys noticed that, but it gets me in trouble sometimes because, you know, sometimes honesty looks like you have no tact at all. And I try not to be one of those people that's like, when keeping it real goes wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I try not to do that, you know. I try to be like hyper aware of it, but because I'm an aspie, my filter is not always the greatest. And so people are like, Heather, what's this? I'm just like, and it's like, I just vomit up the first answer that comes out is true, but it's usually not said gracefully, I guess is the best way to put it. So thank you for appreciating that. I guess.
Well, Irene disagrees with you, says you're very down to earth and caring.
I love you guys.
Paula says your reviews are a godsend to me. Your honesty and detailed descriptions help me make the right choices. And if you wear wigs due to hair loss, making the right choice is so important.
Thank you. That's so, you guys are so sweet. I really appreciate that, because I do sometimes kind of get in my head and I get kind of depressed about stuff, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna follow Teddy Roosevelt's advice. You know, one of his mottos was get action, be sane, as in, like, you know, he suffered his whole life with depression, and you know, the way that he channeled it, the way that the whole Roosevelt family in general would channel their depression was through action, because, you know, what depression wants is for you to just sit in a dark room by yourself and not do anything. And the temptation is there. You just want to withdraw and go into your little shell and not let anybody mess with you, and just like sit there and binge watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. At least that's what my inclination typically is. Pass me the Captain Crunch, Buffy's on. And I can't do that. You know, I gotta like go exercise and get out in the sunshine sometimes and make makeup videos and hang out with my friends once in a while. So again, I think we're all kind of helping each other, and you need to know you're really helping me too. I really do appreciate it more than words can say, to just have the opportunity to know that you guys get me. It's nice to just be able to relax and talk about stuff. It's nice to not have to put on the act, you know? Not that I was that great at putting one on in the first place. You know, there's a reason why I never made I would audition for the High School Musical. This is a true story, literally every single year, and I never got cast, even though I was one of the strongest singers. I was always stuck behind a curtain or something where I had to sing like tenor or something to kind of supplement the people on the stage. But, you know, I was on the makeup crew. That's what I did when I was in high school. I was on makeup crew for the musicals because they didn't want to cast me because I can't dance and I'm a terrible actress. I could sing, but I mean, unless it's just like one of those, you know, plant yourself in place Brunhilde and start wailing kind of thing, it's not going to work.
Oh, wow. All I can say about that is that so lines up with that Discworld book Masquerade I bought you.
That's a great book. You want to tell people a little bit about it?
All righty. Well, first off, we've got lots of love and compliments coming your way. I want you to know that. But yeah, I'll get to those in a second. But yeah, Masquerade by Terry Pratchett is his take on Phantom of the Opera and musicals and stuff like that. And there's a character called Perdita, or her real name is Agnes. but she's when she's being edgy, she calls herself Perdita, and she's got magical talent and a really great singing voice, but she is of the operatic build.
Yes.
And so when she goes to audition for the opera, they stick her behind the curtain and get her to sing while the pretty young willowy blonde thing is out front doing the mouth movements.
Absolutely. 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 Except she wasn't lip syncing. It was part of like a chorus scene usually, but absolutely. Though the most absurd time that ever happened to me was in college, and they threw me in the cast of All the Night Visitors, and I was helping out the choir director essentially, because the chorus of children, the boys, their voices weren't low enough to sing the tenor or the bass part, so they brought a couple guys in to sing bass, and I sang tenor. And I'm a soprano, so I'm not sure it sounded good, but it probably sounded kind of like a little boy trying to sing low, which I guess would have been appropriate for a children's operetta. But if you don't know what All the Night Visitors is, you probably have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, but it's a thing I did. In fact, I think I've been in a production of that, though not in a production of that, on 4 separate occasions. Seriously.
Right. Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to read you some embarrassing things to lift your mood, okay?
Okay. Am I gonna have a hard time putting this mascara on though?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Oh God.
J. Lorette 56 says, I do love you, Heather.
Thank you.
The Mert says, the very first wig I purchased was from CysterWigs. I knew nothing about anything pertaining to wigs. So happy I stumbled upon you. So kind in sharing info and honesty. I was lucky to find you first.
Thank you.
Shauna, oops. Look up a bit.
Ooh. Okay.
Thank you. You're sweet, kind, and I just want to hang out and watch Buffy, says Shauna.
Yes. Yes.
Carolyn, who has just joined us, sends a heart and says hello.
Sorry, I was in concentration mode. I don't want to not say hello.
And Faith says that's why we appreciate and love you guys. Oh, thank you.
And I want to tell you, Nigel, I appreciate you, and I appreciate your willingness to do this with me 2 times a week. You are a team player, and the fact that you have so much fun doing it, I think, is really touching too.
Yeah, it's a hoot. I get to interact with people. It's not something we generally get to do because of COVID and work and stuff like that. This is social interaction, for Pete's sake.
Heck yeah. Or as John says, if he's with us, he says hug yeah all the time. So hug yeah.
Robin says, I love Pratchett. Well, you've just got excellent taste is all.
It's the truth, yes. All right.
Dark in here, isn't it?
So I want to tell you what I did. So apparently he only used 2 colors for that look. One was like actually he used 3 colors for that look. He used kind of like a smoked out color down here that kind of goes up in the V in the crease. So for that, I used Tor, as you saw. I also used Spot as a liner, very soft, didn't go crazy with it. And then I still wanted to go back to that Monroe that I used a little bit under here, and I used it with my finger. And it's kind of a champagne color, so it's not totally cool, but it is really pretty and neutral. So let's go back to the test and see. Is it nude? I would say yes. I would say, yeah. I would say the fact that I had the option to go warm or cool is pretty telling. Though there aren't that many cool options, and there definitely aren't any light cool options. That's another thing to throw out there. If you need like a pearl white or something like that, you're definitely better off supplementing with that, because the color I put on my lid is the lightest color of the shimmers, and Tusk here is very similar, except it's a matte and it's a little bit more of like a beige. So it's got a little bit more of like a yellow to it. So, but yes, I definitely say that this is nude. So now we have to see, is it neutral? Will it go with these 3 wigs? So I'm gonna have to put them on. so we can find out. So I have a wig cap because I wanted to show you guys my bio hair before I put these wigs on. Okay, my bio hair is at that annoying length that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. Like, it's that annoying length where it is too short to keep underneath the wig cap without it slipping and sliding around and want to poke through. And it is too long to not wear the wig cap. Like I just can't put the wig on anymore. I missed my shaved head. But again, as I said in previous live streams, I'm grateful for the fact that I feel that way because it means that I don't miss my hair anymore. Like, I'm basically over my hair. I miss having a shaved head because it's so much easier. It's possible. It's so much easier to get the wigs on when you don't have to deal with all of that other stuff. It's just a matter of, can you be comfortable with that? And then, I got addicted to it apparently because I'm not comfortable with all this hair. But just so you know, in case you didn't know earlier, I'm growing it out because I'm thinking of developing some toppers for the fall. And I figured the only way that I can, and one of them is going to be in a gray. Okay. And so the only way that I could really make sure that they fit nicely and that they're easy to wear, just like with the wigs, I tested them all before we made them. And I would wear them around the house and I would play around with them. It's part of the reason why I have so much makeup, because I just made a hobby of playing dress up to get to know these wigs before we mass produced them. And I'm starting with the wild card because I was just feeling like this dark hair color needed to go on my head. But yeah, so I'm growing my hair out and it's annoying, but it's for science, is the gist of that story.
Science.
That's right. Science. Science. Credit to Theo, of course.
Shout out to Theo Adams, one of the funniest Transformers reviewers on the internet.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. I'm going to lower this chair. Whoop. There we go. This chair even swivels. Whee! Every time. I get a kick out of it every time. So you can see she's got a little bit of what I affectionately call taco head, which is when the wig has been packed flat, which these wigs are. You kind of have to play with them, massage the crown sometimes. A blow dryer on low heat and then just kind of pressing it down helps too. I made a whole video about that. But this is Honor. All three of these are going to be our Honor style. And I figured she's kind of a mod little bob. One of those little timeless, classic bob haircuts. I'm kind of figuring out where I want the bangs to lay. I think I'm just going to part them. That's cute. Fluff her up a little bit. Well, this is an easy sell. This definitely goes with this eyeshadow for sure. This looks great. And I knew it would. That's kind of why I think I was gravitating towards it. It looks really good with this dark wig color. What do you guys think?
Well, Paula's happy about the topper idea.
Good. Oh, good. Tell me what kind of toppers you're interested in because I'm trying to develop some. I don't want to make them too long, but I want to make sure the bases are wide because that's what I would need in order to get it on. And if I have to experiment with them, I want them to not pull my hair out so they don't pull yours out either.
Well, Liz says, "Oh, adorbs, so love that color."
I am in love with how it came out too. I'm glad you like it because, and it's even more like, I don't know. Have you seen it in the Wigs Forever line? Did you? I don't know if you got an Anya or a Mirabella in that color, but it's even a little bit redder in the non-heat friendly fibers. Like when the light hits it, it's like ruby. It's so pretty.
Irene chimes in with, "I can't change color so well when my hair is not short, but I'm getting ready for toppers this summer in Alabama. Humidity."
I love wearing toppers in the summer too. So you were thinking along the same lines as me. If I'm going to wear them, I'd rather wear them in the summertime when it's hot because then I don't have to wear a full wig. That's one of the best things about toppers. And again, I made a whole video about this like 4 years ago. But I used to wear toppers a lot more often when I had more hair. I've kind of like progressed out of that, unfortunately. And that is a real hazard, by the way, if you have radical weight loss. And I feel like my sleeve surgery and the subsequent weight loss absolutely accelerated my hair loss. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I used to have a lot more hair than I currently do. But luckily, I had the hookup on wigs already because I already owned the store by then. So I just kind of shaved it and didn't think about it. But seeing it come back in, it's like, oh, man. The reality staring me in the mirror, like, whoa. bring me my hair. It's like I can't wait to get the wigs on sometimes. Speaking of which, I should show you another color so we can keep this test going for science. Let's do the warm one next. So I'm going to break out the caramel macchiato, and then we'll do the cool one, the kind of crazy looking unicorn swirl.
Meanwhile, Liz is saying very Biba.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Cheryl, very 60s. Shauna looks great. Andrea looks fabulous. Sharon, just gorgeous. Faith, yes, it looks great. Where are we here?
It's in with this this kind of outfit look, pastiche, whatever you want to call it, very well, I think.
Right. Irene says, yes, wide base toppers. That sounds good. Carolyn says, super cute hair.
Thank you. This is our honor in Caramel Macchiato-R. All right. I'm just trying to play with her a little bit.
And just to answer your question, the first wig was Ravens and Roses are there.
Correct. Yes. And would you be willing to put that in the description or maybe even the comments when the replay's up, honey? I really need to stop doing that because I'm going to give people like dizzy spells or something.
Okay.
But do you think that this color, which is kind of like a light auburn with some blonde in it, do you think that this goes well with this eyeshadow look? Yeah, I think it does too. I actually think that the darker hair color was a little bit better with it, honestly. And I think that's just because I stuck predominantly to like cool tones. I mean, I literally used 3 colors. So to say that they were all cool tones is kind of like misleading. They really weren't. It was like 2 neutral shades and a champagne. So again, she puts right on here, it's all neutral. So I think in this case, it's kind of truth in advertising it started to look like, because the colors I chose were definitely neutral. And I think they go with this very well. I just think, I don't know, maybe dark hair just looks better on me. Or maybe it's just a matter of personal preference because my hair is naturally dark. I think part of it's also, and I think Liz, I'm making a mess. I think Liz disclosed that she has green eyes too. Like, darker hair just makes green eyes pop. But so does purple, which is like why I like making purple so much. So this is our unicorn Swirl-R, and I know this color is crazy, but it is actually my favorite color for this style. I really love it. You would think that something that is like pastel stripes, essentially, would not look good on a really short, straight style, but it does. It looks really, really cute because the colors are relatively similar. So they just kind of melt into each other. And sometimes folks ask, what's the difference between this and the Mermaid Kisses? Hey, honey.
R?
I think that in the bathroom, I have a wig in Mermaid Kisses. Would you be willing to grab it just so we can kind of show people that there is definitely a difference between the 2 colors?
Right, I'll give us a sec. I'll see what I can find.
Thank you. I'll just talk about what this color is so you can kind of see how they're not really related. This color is kind of like my little nod to the trans pride flag, except it doesn't have the white in it. So it's got a little bit of pink, a little bit of lavender, a little bit of baby blue, and it also has a dark brown root. So it's kind of like an espresso brown.
Oh, look, it was right on top of the shooting.
Woohoo! So we have a Calista here, and this is Mermaid Kisses. Mermaid Kisses, and I'm going to take this off the screen just so you can see all of this. Is the light still good for everybody? Because I want to make sure you can see this really well. So this is Mermaid Kisses, and you can see, and we talk about color theory a lot in here. And this is actually a really good example of that. You can kind of see that it has a lot of similar tones in it. Like you can see the lavender, you can see the pink, you can even see the baby blue, but there's more here. And you can tell when they're right up against each other that they're not the same color blend. And it's because this has more warm tones in it. Seriously, they're all the same general level of like muted, washed out kind of pastel with kind of a gray base to them. but I mean, there's actually peach in here and a little bit of like baby buttery yellow. And those warmer tones, there's a little bit like seafoam green. All of those tones mishmash together like that almost make this look like a gray. Like particularly when it's far away. I love playing with color theory with my color choices. My hope was to make something that looked kind of like the appearance of like ripples on the water in the moonlight or something like that. Like if you're hanging out near the ocean at sunset and the waters are all these different iridescent colors, or you're, you know, on a little riverboat and you look down and you see all the little ripples being all these beautiful iridescent light shades. That was kind of what I was going for. That was not what I was going for with this one. This one, I wanted it to look definitely kind of an intense pastel. And you can tell this one's definitely much more muted and has a lot more going on. Though the roots are not too different, right? Like this is probably more of 4. This is probably more of like a 2. So there's that. But we still need to answer the all-important question. Does this color go with this eyeshadow?
Cheryl says you're a master of color. Love it.
Oh, thank you, Cheryl. I'm still experimenting too. I hope to have some more things to impress you very soon.
Well, you've got a lot of support for the Mermaid Kisses in here.
Oh, yay! Yes, I love those colors that are kind of like chameleon. Like it depends on the light. It depends on, you know, how you flip your hair, what colors people are going to see.
Yeah, just loads and loads of support for the Mermaid Kisses.
Let me kind of close my eyes a little bit so you can actually see what I did. I hope it focuses. So that's kind of a classic layout that I just copied from Kevin O'Coin's Making Faces. I used different colors because the woman that originally, if you didn't hear me say this at the beginning, her name was Dawn, and she's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And this is a book from the 90s. So beautiful, kind of like almost like a smoky eye layout, but I chose much lighter colors because obviously she's like a melanin goddess. I am, I sunburn terribly when I go out in the sun. We'll just put it that way. I need to stick to like pink tones and softer things if I'm going for a nude look.
Wendy has a request. Can you put on the Mermaid Kisses?
Sure.
See how it looks with that makeup.
Yeah, totally. Extra super bonus time. I love this wig very much. I know I'm extremely biased. The bias is real. She's my baby. I love this wig though, because the way the hair moves, I just can't stop shaking her. And when you wash her for the first time and you put a little bit of like Simply Styling or some kind of wig conditioner in it, you let it dry, take it outside, it will move even better than this once it's washed. Like this fiber almost needs for you to rinse it. And I explained that in one of the live streams that I did about these. When you rinse the product or just wash it the first time, it softens up and it moves really beautifully. I love taking these outside to take pictures, and I hope to have time soon to take pictures of these outside because they're gonna look so good. I mean, this is without me styling it or putting anything in it. This is just me finger combing it out of the bag. I don't know if all of the hair is falling in the right place in the back. So hopefully I'm not like embarrassing myself right now with like.
No, it looks all right.
Right. No big knots hanging out in the back there.
Mm.
And that's what the top looks like. I'm wearing a dark wig cap, but you can still kind of see the monofilament part we've got here on Calista. Now, just so you know, Calista and Anya and Marabella, they all fit very roomy. The cap fit is very similar to like brands like Estetica or Vivica Fox, except there are no clips or combs on the inside, and we put a lot of extra felt in them for comfort. So definitely a roomy cap fit. And Kathleen actually is a godsend, and she has been very gracious. And I asked her, you know, can you help people learn how to make the cap smaller if they want to? Because even if they're not interested in doing that with one of my wigs, it's still a really wonderful thing to learn how to do. Because I purposefully am making these wigs a little bit bigger because most of the wigs on the market are not particularly big head friendly. I struggle to find wigs that fit me comfortably. And I know that a lot of my women in the big head tribe with me, my sisters in big headed arms. Like we have the same problem where we can't find wigs that fit comfortably, or women who have hair who just want to wear the wigs instead because they're easier. It's super hard with the medical wigs because unless you braid it up under your cap and compress it a lot, it's gonna look lumpy and weird. But if the cap is roomy, your hair will fit underneath it and it won't slip and slide around as much, and everything is awesome. But if you have a slightly small head, like let's say you're in the petite average group, you can still wear a wig like this. You can wear a lot of wigs that are in the average or average plus category even. You know, you can, this is helpful if you want to buy wigs secondhand and stuff like that. You can modify them by, especially if they're wefted, by removing some of the tracks in the back. And Kathleen is like a master at this because she also has kind of a smaller frame than I do and more of a petite head than I do. And she's just brilliant with this stuff. So she's going to talk about that in our Moon Kitty mix-up group. If you're familiar, I highly recommend it because she puts all kinds of helpful information in there. She's a goddess. So I highly recommend that you check that out. We love Kathleen around here. But yeah, that's Calista. Hopefully it's focusing. Sometimes when I turn around, the camera tries to overcorrect.
Yeah, it's looking all right just now.
That's not a filter or anything. That's literally just the light sensor on the camera tends to like freak out if there's not a face on the screen.
Shelly says the makeup goes perfectly with that color.
Thank you.
Wendy says, thanks, the Mermaid Kisses look lovely with the nude makeup. And Cheryl says, I think I like the makeup with Mermaid Kisses the best of all. It looks beautiful.
It does. That was a great idea.
Way to go, Wendy. Excellent call.
Absolutely. It looks great. So I think that this palette, I probably could have anticipated this, but I could not pass up the opportunity to play with it anyway. The Biba palette by Natasha Denona absolutely passes all the tests with flying colors. And frankly, at this price point, it bloody well should. It's $129. But I will say you get a lot of product in each of these pans. It will probably last you a really long time. You may never need to buy another nude eyeshadow palette again, really. It's got that much product in it. It'll probably go bad before you use it all. So if you like bang for your buck, I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful product, easy to blend, fine line friendly. Very, very fine line friendly, even the shimmers. So highly recommend.
Later, Shauna.
Bye, Shauna. And by the way, we're basically done here too. It's more or less dinner time. Is there anything you wanted to touch on before we say goodnight?
Well, did you want to mention the, oops, went a bit too far. Did you want to mention tonight's clue for the giveaway?
Sure. So really the clues are just going to be the entry details for the most part. So in this case, the first clue is, be sure to leave a comment on the replay. And this is super easy. When the replay launches, leave a comment there. And you don't have to like say nice things. You can say nice things about me, but you don't have to. I'm not trying to like bait people for compliments. What I really would love is you could give me suggestions for things you'd like to see in June. So really it's just me trying to, get some ideas and to see that, you're watching all these live streams to complete all the steps, and I'll make sure all of them are easy and all of them are free. So that way anybody who wants to enter can, because I mean, this poor wig, she deserves a head to sit on. And just know we are going to check. So if we find a winner and they haven't left comments, we're not going to say, hey, leave those comments real quick so you still qualify. We will just move on to somebody who followed the steps. So just know that up front. And there is a code word, which I'm not going to put on the screen, but the code word is something that you need to save for the last step in the entry process, okay? And the code word is avocado. Okay, that's the first word, first day. And this is just for me to make sure that you're paying attention, right? And not just scrolling through to read the titles. I'm saying it and I'm not putting it on the screen, but it's a silly word so you can remember it. Avocado. Okay. What does that mean, Nigel? What does the word?
The password is avocado.
But what?
You want to know what avocado means?
I want to know. I want to know.
Oh, you'll love. Are you doing this for a bit, or do you really not know what avocado means?
Like, it seems like one of those words that you would know the meaning of because you are Nigel and you know these things. And besides, every time I mention avocados, you kind of like snicker almost. So I kind of want to know what that's about.
I'll tell you what. what it is. I actually read up on this because I had like avocado once when I was younger, and it was brown and disgusting, and I didn't think much of it. So I didn't have any avocado anything for decades until you reintroduced me to it and gave me some good avocado stuff. And I thought, oh, this is lovely. I've been missing out on this good stuff all along. Guacamole and all that other stuff. Fantastic. So I got into it, and then, like the nerd I am, I started researching avocado. And I thought, where does that name come from? I looked it up. It's a Nahuatl word. You know, this is,
know this.
It's this, you know, the same language that gives us chocolate and axolotl. I can't remember actually. I will look it up.
Do you think
Avocado etymology. But yeah, it comes from the Nahuatl. Where is it? Cripes.
Well,
there it is.
I'm going to answer somebody's question. Paula wanted to know, how do we use the code word? Right now, just write it down and save it. All right, because when you put your entry in, we may ask for that information to verify that you were watching the live streams. But I will be dishing out the entries in bites, like the entry information. Literally, the clues are literally the entry instructions. So they're not really clues. I'm just using that as shorthand for explaining that I'm giving out the entry instructions a little bit by little bit every week. So if you ask me questions, anybody else who's out there about, you know, what comes next, what to do next, I'm not telling you that. We're going to wait until the last live stream. So a little bit at a time. So just write it down, remember it. I mean, it's over a $2,000 wig. So literally just put it on a Post-it note and then, you know, add to it next week. That's all you got to do. So,
okay.
And you'll find out. And then the last day you'll be like, oh, that's stupid, Heather. And I'll be like, see, I told you. I'm trying to make it easy, but I'm still trying to make it something where, you know, people have to actually like pay attention, but without actually working too hard to do it. You know what I mean? So fine line, hence the clues are super cheesy, but there's a commitment involved, you know? So did you find out what it means?
I know what it means. I was looking at the original Nahuatl word, which is ahuacatl. Cool. The conquistadors changed it to avocado. And what it means is testicle. Means scrotum fruit, Heather.
I knew that had to mean something naughty. I knew that it had to be something goofy. Because every time we get something with avocado in it, you just get this look of that one. The one you were making before you bust out laughing. You make that face. I hope everybody caught that and plays it back so they can. I can't even duplicate it. And now you're smiling, so it's not the same face. But it was like, like you have a secret and you're not going to tell.
I can't help it. I just get a kick out of that.
But I know you so well. Oh, it's so gratifying. All right.
Because then I get the image of going up to trendy young things in Starbucks and saying, "How's your testicle toast?" Which we had today.
We did have avocado toast.
We had avocado toast today.
Well, that's what made me think of the word. Yeah. But, oh, goodness gracious. I can't even think of a comeback that isn't naughty. So I'm just going to stop. We're shutting it down. That's it. Okay. So thank you for hanging out with us, everybody.
Yes, indeed.
We had a blast. I mean, I'm speaking for you too, Nigel, but
I had a blast.
Oh, good. I hope that you guys had fun. I hope to see you again tomorrow night, earlier time. We're going to be on the CysterWigs 2 channel. It's going to be at 6 p.m. And I didn't see what the poll was, what the winner was so far. Is it more English stuff?
Last time I checked, which was a couple hours ago, English food was winning. So we get to talk about it. So if it's still winning, we get to talk about English food.
We should probably make some like English food for dinner if we can, and like take a picture and make that the thumbnail. Be like, look at my toad in the hole.
Well, I cook dinner, so technically it's English food.
Every time. Yeah.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Well, you know what? dinner is something we can do now. So
Save the chubby unicorns.
Say goodnight and go eat food. Bye,
Bye
everyone.
all. Thank you.
We hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.